In 1960, Nigeria became an independent nation, thanks to the works and ingenuity of the founding fathers like Herbert Macaulay, Nnamdi Azikiwe, Ahmadu Bello, and others. But as the years rolled by, the flaw in the system became evident. The hope for a better life after independence seemed a mirage, despite the huge potentials in human and mineral resources, like in the rest of West African states. There was a great need to hold the bull by the horn. The colonialists did not grant economic independence. By controlling trades and international relations with international institutions, putting their puppets in power, granting loans and aids with unfavorable conditions. As the reality became glaring, nationalists across the third world countries began to fight for true independence. Abacha regime in Nigeria was one of these regimes.
The 1996 to 98 rolling plan, which provides the base for the 1996 capital budget, aims at building Nigeria's productive capacity and completing those projects which should free the economy from external dependence. I sincerely appeal to the international community for support in our endeavors. This administration does not shy away from well-meaning advice on political, economic, and financial matters. We are prepared to listen, but if having listened, we make our decisions, we expect our true friends to concede that right to us.
From November 1993, a new order was in place after the several attempts to achieve political and economic freedom. And the new order required a new set of rules. On 27 November 1996, a vision committee was set up to change the narratives of Nigeria's socio-economic woes. The committee's mandate was captured in a 14-item terms of reference. It had the former head of the interim national government, Chief Ernest Shonikon, a private sector player as chairman, and about 248 persons from various sectors of the economy, including 25 foreigners as members. Their mandate was clear: fashion out an economic blueprint that would lead the nation from poverty and underdevelopment to a democratically stable and economically prosperous nation within a period of about 14 years.
Now that we have attained a modest level of stability, we are faced with the greater challenge of how to consolidate the gains we have recorded. We have to concretize our achievements and determine objectives for our country in the short, medium, and long terms. In this regard, I am proud to state that Nigeria is now ready to adopt a more systematic and carefully phased-out approach to the development of the nation. Time is indeed right for us to have a definite vision of the type of society we want, especially one that is economically prosperous, politically stable, and socially harmonious. Properly defined, this vision should provide a strategic insight into the direction in which the nation needs to move, as well as a proper focus on the formation of programs and policies which should lead us to the realization of the future of our dreams.
After about 10 months of deliberations in the nation's capital, Abuja, the committee came up with a plan that would lead to Nigeria's transformation into a united, industrious, and politically stable society, committed to making the basic needs of life affordable for everyone. The Vision 2010. The plans of the document were organized under various areas such as education, health, industry, petroleum, solid minerals, agriculture, infrastructure, poverty alleviation, rural and urban development, unemployment, small and medium-scale enterprises, public and private sector partnership, stable policy environment, law and order, anti-corruption, good governance, external image and capital mobilization. A year after receiving the plan, the GDP of Nigeria grew from $270 in 1993 to $480 in 1997. Unemployment declined from 4.10% in 1993 to 4.02%. Debt decreased from $36 billion in 1993 to $27 billion in 1997. Foreign reserves increased from $494 million in 1993 to $9.6 billion in 1997. Inflation rate declined from 7.17% in 1993 to 8.53% in 1997. Trade balance increased from $1.78 billion in 1993 to $3.18 billion in 1997. Economy grew from $27.75 billion in 1993 to $54.46 billion in 1997, with massive investments in building new schools, libraries, hostels, roads, hospitals, etc. At this rate, the vision was achievable with determination and political discipline, and General Sani Abacha was ready to do that.
I make sure that ministers are well controlled even when they are traveling. I make sure that I approve their traveling, and I even approve the amount of money they will spend. Any expenditure outside, the budget itself. Even what is in the budget, I have to approve it.
But there was a problem. His major international allies like China, Turkey, Libya are not in the good books of the United States of America and her allies. America and her allies are known to effect regime changes through sponsored coups, sponsored civil demonstrations, invasions, poisoning, elections, and assassinations in their bid to control the world and its resources.
Countries where the U.S. has interfered is long. In 1893, the U.S. helped overthrow the Kingdom of Hawaii. 5 years later, in 1898, the U.S. invaded and occupied Cuba and Puerto Rico. A year later, it was the Philippines. Early 20th century interventions included Nicaragua, Haiti, the Dominican Republic, all in the 1910s.
In 1953, the U.S. helped overthrow the Iranian government. A year later, in 1954, the U.S.-backed coup in Guatemala, overthrowing the democratically elected leader of Guatemala, Jacobo Arbenz. Then in the 60s, the list grew to include, once again, the Dominican Republic, Indonesia, and the Congo. And that's just a partial list. Even with the end of the Cold War, U.S. interference overseas did not end. Next week marks the 15th anniversary of the U.S. invasion of Iraq to topple the government of Saddam Hussein.
Abacha knew all this and took measures to avoid it, but on June 8, 1998, he died less than 18 hours he received the PLO leader, Yasser Arafat, at the presidential wing of the Nnamdi Azikiwe Airport, becoming one of the great African fallen heroes in the struggle to liberate Africa.